And we are officially rolling. This is chapter 7, so we're gonna do 7. Oh! Buckle up, it's chapter 7, Unhappy Ending. Off the bat, I just wanna tell y'all, like, ahead of this. This chapter, I have a lot of thoughts. I'm actually writing a fanfic about the last days of Rosalie's human life. The horror of the plight of femininity and like all of that bullshit, but also like I'm writing a fanfic. If you guys want to read it, I have first 5 chapters written. Like, let me know in the comments if you guys would be down. Trigger warning, from here on out, we're not responsible for your mental breakdowns. Chapter 7. Unhappy Ending. It's Rosalie in the door? We thought it was Alice. Bella thought it was Alice. It's not.
It's Rosalie.
My stomach twisted nervously as the one Cullen who did not like me moved silently to sit down in the open space.
Girl, Jasper doesn't like you. Do you mind talking to me for a few minutes? I didn't wake you or anything, did I?
Her eyes shifted to the stripped bed and back to my couch. The bed was like stripping. The bed was like strip. The bed was like strip. Please don't think I'm horribly interfering, she said, interfering horribly. I'm sure I've hurt your feelings enough in the past, and I don't want to do that again.
She lied through her fucking teeth. Don't worry about it, Rosalie. My
feelings are great.
I'm going to try to tell you why I think you should stay human.
Why I would stay human if I were you. Oh.
Not another one. What? What? Tell me, what?
Everyone's got an opinion on Bella staying human, and that opinion is that Bella should stay human.
Yeah, great. All right. Whatever.
Awesome, Rosalie.
Also, you staying a human, Rosalie, would be a little bit different than me staying a human.
It's my body, my choice.
Did Edward ever tell you what led to
this? She says, gesturing to her glorious immortal body.
Me tasting red wine, like,
what a glorious body.
Am I detecting immortality?
Am I detecting a hint of the supernatural in this one?
Maybe oak. Maybe oak.
Nutty.
I nodded slowly, suddenly somber. Oh, yes.
He said it was close to what happened to me that time in Port Angeles.
You know, anyway, yes. Would you like to hear my story, Bella?
Thank you asking for consent, though.
Yeah. Even though she came here specifically to tell the story,
it doesn't have a happy ending.
But which of ours does?
If we had happy endings, we'd all be under gravestones right now.
It's like, disagree, babe.
Yeah, no.
Agree to disagree, babe.
Personally, no, but
love you, babe. That's for you. It was 1933. I was 18, and I was beautiful. My life was perfect. How many times has she told this story? She looks out the window. My parents were thoroughly middle class. My father,
my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father's my father, my father, my father, my father, my father,
my father, a stable bank job. Something I realize now that he was smug about. He saw his prosperity as a reward for talent and hard work, rather than acknowledging the luck involved.
Also, it's more than, like, there's gotta be something else going on. He works at the bank and it's 1933. Y'all know when the Great Depression ended? 34. And the whole thing was a bank failure. What is going on?
Of course, I saw the poor people.
My father left me with the impression that they'd brought their troubles on themselves. Yeah, classic conservative.
Great Depression, Great Depression. That's the wrong impression. They brought their failures upon themselves.
I didn't fully understand at the time, but I was always vaguely aware that my parents weren't satisfied with what they had, even if it was so much more than most. They wanted more.
They want more.
I already am rich, but I want more money.
More money than you can ever imagine.
Walking around on those, what do they call them?
Plebes. They had social aspirations. And you know what the best way to climb socially is to marry into wealth.
Oh, I was like, to be hot.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
in order to marry into
wealth,
you gotta be hot. And
yeah.
Rosalie is the bangingest bitch. They're banging buzz. Okay?
Literally.
They saw more potential in her beauty than she did because they are masterminds. They're like planning 5 steps ahead.
And they're like, the dominoes cascaded in a line. What if I told you
I'm a mastermind?
And now you'll
rich.
die.
I was thrilled to be me, to be Rosalie Hale. Please, the men's eyes watch me everywhere I went. From the year
I turned 12. Did someone imprint?
Oh my god. Admiration was like air to me, Bella. I was silly and shallow, but I was content. Again, how many times has she said this?
Yeah, that's rehearsed.
Off the cuff? I doubt it.
Admiration was like air to me,
Bella. She's practicing it out loud and she's like, how was that, babe? And Emmett's like, great,
babe.
Better than the last time.
Your voice is really pretty.
When you said like admiration was like air, like that was
hit.
Yeah, that was
okay. That was so much better than admiration was like water, fire, earth, and air.
She smiled, amused at her own evaluation. She's like, God, it sounds even better than I nailed it.
That's even better than the practice.
I nailed it. I wanted a big house with elegant furnishings that someone else would clean,
and a modern kitchen that someone else would cook in.
Well, you got that. Esme does all of that for you. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dreams do come true,
Yeah,
Rosalie.
So her bestie named Vera married young, just 17, and she married a man my parents would never have considered for me, a carpenter. And honestly,
Jesus Christ.
hot. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. Aside from the Jesus thing, we'll table that to come back to it later.
Nice.
She's like,
hey.
Wow.
Hit me with that hammer. Oh my god.
Hammer me.
with that hammer. I like your wood. A year later, they had a son, a beautiful baby boy with dimples and curly black hair.
It was the first time I'd ever felt truly jealous of anyone else in my entire life.
Because Rosalie doesn't have dimples. Rosalie is really, she's got the tinglies for the toddler. She wants to have a child.
She sounds like a pedophile, but no, she wants to have babies.
Yeah, she's got baby fever. In Rochester, there was only one royal family, the Kings, ironically enough. Stephanie Mayer's like, if I say ironically enough, then I can get away with like calling it in.
Yeah. Like, did you even try?
She was probably the first draft, just like put in Kings and be like, I'll think of something later.
The
and then she's
editor
like,
will fix it. And then it got to print and she was like, oh, wait, I forgot I did that. Royce King owned the bank my father worked at. And nearly every other really profitable business in town.
Oh, entrepreneur.
That's how his son, Royce King the Second.
Her mouth twisted
around the name. Royce King the Second
saw me for the first time. He was going to take over the bank, and so he began overseeing different positions.
Switching the positions for you.
2 days later, Rosalie's mom conveniently forgot to send lunch to work with her dad. She like dresses her up in her...
Hey, Rosalie, why don't you put on a white organza and roll your hair up to go take your dad lunch? Like, how about you literally do bride cosplay?
Yeah. Royce was handsome too, apparently. He had lighter hair than Rosalie did.
Oh my god.
Pale blue eyes.
It's giving Nazi.
Rolf? My parents approved.
That's putting it mildly.
This was everything they dreamed of.
They set it up. Like
it's all going according to plan.
Everything's coming up hail.
And Royce seemed to be everything I dreamed of. A fairy tale prince come to make me a princess. Everything I wanted, yet it was still no more than I expected. Yeah, duh.
I love that attitude.
Oh, we were
engaged before I'd known him for 2 months? Damn. The whole marriage is about an idea and it's not a relationship.
Yeah.
It's an arranged marriage.
Yeah. She went over to Vera's and she no longer felt jealous because she's like, I'm literally about to
babies. Pop off.
Oh my god, she says, I pictured my fair-haired children playing on the huge lawns of the King's estate and
I pitied her.
That's mean.
That's classist.
She's your best friend.
Yeah.
You were just jealous of her perfect little baby not like 2 seconds ago.
It's oozing insecurity.
Rosalie broke off suddenly, clenching her teeth together. It pulled me out of her story.
And I realized that the horror was not far off. There would be no happy ending, as she promised, and you never break a promise.
Don't ever.
So there's gotta be a happy ending.
I was at Vera's that night, Rosalie whispered. Her face was smooth as marble.
And as hard. Her little Henry really was adorable. All smiles and dimples. Fuck, I want dimples.
He was just sitting up on his own.
Wow! Vera walked me to the door as I was leaving, her baby in her arms and her husband at her side, his arm around her waist.
He kissed her on the cheek when he thought I wasn't looking.
That bothered me. When Royce kissed me, it wasn't quite the same. Not so sweet, somehow. I shoved the thought aside. This is where it gets dark.
Here we go.
It was so dark that it was dark in the streets. It was cold too. Very cold for late April. The wedding was only a week away, and I was worrying about the weather as I hurried home. I can remember that clearly. I remember every detail about that night.
And so I remember this, when so many pleasant memories have faded away completely.
Damn. Isn't that how trauma works, though?
Yeah, it is. I was a few streets from my house when I heard them. A cluster of men under a broken street lamp laughing too loud. Drunk.
Never, ever, ever a good thing to stumble upon. All girls, gays, and theys know this feeling. Mm-hmm. That's actually so terrifying.
Yes. And then he called my name.
Rose! He yelled and all the others laughed stupidly because they're fucking stupid and we hate them.
Yes. I hadn't realized the drunks were so well dressed.
Oh!
It was Royce and some of his friends, sons of other rich men.
A white man? No!
She'd never seen him drink before. Oh my God, a toast now and then at a party. He told me he didn't like champagne.
Boo! Who doesn't champagne? Psychopaths.
Yes. He had a new friend, the friend of a friend, come up from Atlanta. What did I tell you, John? Isn't she lovelier than all your
I got my
Georgia
peaches out in Georgia.
It's hard to tell. She's all covered up. They laughed. Royce like the rest. Which is
giving.
That's the saddest part, is that like he's laughing with all of them. Like that's
Yeah.
the scariest, saddest, grossest part.
What is the strongest memory you have? Strongest memory of the incident?
Indelible in the hippocampus is the laughter, the uproarious laughter, and they're having fun at my expense.
A la Brett Kavanaugh.
Suddenly, Royce ripped my jacket from my shoulders. It was a gift from him.
Oh my God.
Popping the brass buttons off.
Show him what you look like, Rose. He laughed again and then tore my hat out of my hair.
This is going from 0 to 100.
The pins wrenched my hair from the roots and I cried out in pain. They seemed to enjoy that, the sound of my pain.
It's so random that like she walks up and suddenly they're like, yeah,
Let's
let's rip
assault
her.
you. Like, how, like,
What?
I won't make you listen to the rest, she said quietly. They left me in the streets, still laughing as they stumbled away.
They thought I was dead.
They were teasing Royce that he would have to find a new bride. He laughed and said he'd have to learn some patience first.
Oh my God.
Like,
It's so crazy. He's gonna be fine. Obviously, he's not gonna get in trouble
Yeah.
because his dad is the police.
his dad
But,
owns the police.
What does security do about it?
Nothing.
Typical!
He knows he can get away with it because he's a rich asshole whose family controls
Yeah.
everything.
I waited in the road to die. It was cold, though there was so much pain that I was surprised it bothered me. It started to snow, and I wondered why I wasn't dying. I was impatient for death to come, to end the pain. It was taking so long. Carlisle found me then.
Oh.
He smelled the blood and came over to investigate.
Oh, he's like, is that blood? Wait, hold on. Am I detecting notes of A positive? Like a shark in the wire. I'm going.
Oh, I never liked Dr. Cullen or his wife and his brother.
And her brother.
Oh, and her brother.
Yeah.
Edward was pretending to be
Edward was pretending to be Esme's brother.
Esme's brother. It had upset me that they were all more beautiful than I was.
Especially that the men were. It is infuriating though when like you look at a guy's eyelashes and they're like long and thick and
They're
dark
always
perfectly,
longer and thicker and
it's
better.
like you don't even need them. Like
Yes.
like
They're
like,
always
that
better.
is infuriating.
They're always
I,
better.
I get it.
I thought I died
died when he pulled me from the ground and ran with me.
because he was running so
So
fast.
fast.
She felt like she was flying to heaven's pearly gates.
Woohoo! Suddenly, something sharp was cutting me. My throat, my wrists, my ankles. I screamed in shock, thinking he'd brought me there to hurt me more.
That's so scary.
So,
Oh my God.
Carlisle's biting her to change her into a vampire and save her life, but like...
She's like, this is the literal worst night of my life. Like, I just basically almost died, and now another man is like,
who she
assaulting
already
me.
doesn't like.
Carlisle's sitting there holding her hand saying he's sorry. And like, she's like, you're literally torturing
You literally
me.
did this.
Yeah.
You literally did this.
Oh, and okay, so he like tells her everything. And sometimes I listened. He apologized every time I scream.
That's so...
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. This is his third time now changing somebody.
True. He knows what he's doing now because he did it with Edward and then he did it with Esme because it was last second and he was like, that worked the last time. So, you know, if my calculations are correct, Rosalie won't come out a huge bitch.
Yeah.
You fool.
Edward wasn't happy.
Edward's
I remember
not
hearing
happy.
them talk about it. What were you thinking, Carlisle? Edward said,
Rosalie Hale? Rosalie imitated Edward's irritated tone to perfection because all Edward and Rosalie do is bitch at each other.
I couldn't just let her die, Carlisle said quietly. It was
too much.
Too
horrible.
waste.
Too much waste.
I mean, come on. Look
look
at
at
her.
her. She's so hot.
He sees her dying on the ground. He's like, we can't let this hottie die. I don't save just anybody.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm,
you, like,
I'm saving her for
You gotta,
sure.
yeah,
I gotta
like
keep her.
honestly, like honestly, I just want to see.
Get it back. Yeah. If it doesn't go great, we can rip it to shreds.
We can burn her. It's fine. But worth it.
Yeah, definitely
to try.
Worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Goes.
Definitely worth it to take liberties with this woman's body that I deem appropriate.
Yeah. She's just so pretty.
Of course you couldn't.
Esme's
like, another child. The home is growing.
The daughter I never had, and she's the most beautiful
and
daughter.
She's so pretty.
People die all the time. Edward reminds him. Don't you think she's just a little recognizable? And honestly, good point.
Yeah, the Kings will have to put up a huge search. Not that anyone suspects the fiend.
Edward's like, so what are we gonna do with her? And Carlisle's like, that's up to her. She may want to go her own way.
I gotta go my own way. The pain finally ended, and they explained to me again what I was. I felt the thirst, my hard skin. I saw my brilliant red eyes.
She's like, yeah, no, defo a vampire.
Yeah,
yeah.
Shallow as I was, I felt better when I saw my reflection in the mirror for the first time.
Despite the eyes, I was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Goal achieved.
Wow.
She was thoughtful and then triumphant.
You know, my record is almost as clean as Carlisle's.
Almost. Better than Esme. Oh.
1,000 times better than Edward and his Rumspringa.
I've never tasted human blood.
Wow.
Wait, I want to know who Esme's killed.
Maybe that's why she never leaves the house, because she will kill people. She will kill people.
She will go on a
She never learned.
Bella's like, what? I did murder 5 humans
who deserve to die.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Like, maybe this is a controversial take, but these guys, I'm glad.
No, I'm all here. I think from like day dot reading Rosalie's story, we were all like, yeah, I fully support you.
Good for you, Rosalie.
Get your revenge. People who commit these kinds of crimes hardly ever actually face retribution.
Right.
So you go ahead and
enact revenge as you see fit, because you're the victim and no one else is doing it.
And they've done this to people in the past, and they would do it to
people
in the future.
Again.
So
good for you, Rosalie.
Kill 'em.
We fully stand behind this violence. It's very justified.
Mm-hmm. I saved Royce for last. I hoped that he would hear of his friend's deaths and understand, know what was coming for him. I hoped that fear would make the end worse for him. I think it worked.
He was hiding inside a windowless room behind a door as thick as a bank vault, because he works at the bank.
Guarded outside by armed men.
When it's Ben and his katana. Just kidding, it's not Ben. Ben would never.
And also she goes, oops, 7 murders.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't support the...
I forgot about his guards. They only took a second. Well, neutrality in the face of injustice is siding with the oppressor.
Switzerland. I was overly theatrical.
It was kind of childish, really. I wore a wedding dress I'd stolen for the occasion.
He screamed when he saw me. Hot. He screamed a lot that night. Saving him for last was a good idea. It made it easier for me to control myself to make it slower. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is like a bit oversharing."
Am I scared? Like, am I scared? Am I frightening you? I'm fine. I lied.
I got carried away.
Don't worry about it.
Basically, she says she's annoyed that Edward had a crush on Bella and never had a crush on Rosalie.
You have to understand, I was so used to people wanting me, and Edward wasn't the least bit interested. It frustrated me, even offended me in the beginning.
But then when he didn't like Tanya and all those Denali females, I hate that word.
Ew.
But she was like, once I realized he like didn't like any women, I was like, oh, I guess he's just fucked up. I guess there's something wrong with him. But then he liked Bella, and she was like,
What?
Not that you aren't pretty, Bella. But it was just like weird and like whatever.
It just meant that he found you more attractive than me. I'm vain enough that I minded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm honest enough that I'd admit that. So
aren't I a good person?
Bella's like, you still don't like me, and she says, I'm sorry about that. Don't you see, Bella? You already have everything. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Everything I want. And you're just going to
throw it away.
Can't you see that I trade everything I have to be you? You have the choice that I didn't have,
and you're choosing wrong.
It's her body, babe. Her choice. Fucked up that your choice was taken away.
Yeah.
Don't take Bella's choice away.
But I'm all here for the debate class, like up on the podium, pros cons. Like, sure, we'll let the pros or the cons or whatever version she is have her piece.
Yeah.
You did get a happy ending though.
You got it.
I mean, come on.
And it's great.
These lips go la la la.
What's my name? Say it. What's my name? Say it. What's my name? Say it.
I'm the throat goat.
But yeah, happy ending? You're telling me that's not a happy ending? Emma's like, yeah, babe.
You got the throat goat and you're talking about not getting a happy ending?
Oh, she said she got half. Emmett's the whole damn thing.
Sounds like she's as bad at fractions as we are.
Oh my God.
You know that I saved Emmett from a bear that was mauling him and carried him home to Carlisle, but can you guess why I stopped the bear from eating him?
She's like, no idea. Not a guess.
Why would I know that?
Because he's hot.
With the dark curls, the dimples that showed even when he was grimacing in pain, the strange innocence that seemed so out of place on a grown man's face. He reminded me of Vera's little Henry.
She's just like, oh, he looks like him.
That baby.
And, like, he can't
I
die.
can have baby, but he can call me baby.
Oh my gosh. She said, even though I hated this life, I was selfish enough to ask Carlisle to change him for me. So do you maybe understand then maybe like why Carlisle like saved you? Like maybe could you like put that into perspective and be like, maybe I can kind of get where he was coming from and like why he did that?
Yeah, can you maybe like understand why like from his perspective also like you have no problem taking that choice away from a man because like men never actually have to make that choice.
Yeah.
And it was the right choice for him, but it didn't matter what he thought because you did it anyway. And so why would you take that away from Bella? Is it because she's a woman? Is it because you want her to be more limited? Is it your internalized misogyny that you picked up in the 1930s?
Anyway, just like leave your thoughts in the comments. Emmett is everything I would have asked for if I'd known myself well enough to know what to ask for. Tall, muscular, burly, dimpled, hot, funny, casual, cute, silly, beefy, sexy, throws me around, loves me, marries me every year.
Keep it going. The greatest hits.
I know myself.
I know myself, and I want an objectively perfect jock.
Yeah. But yeah,
Big swing. Oh, a hot, sweet, athletic, kind of dumb, but in a wholesome way guy.
She wants a himbo. She's like basically saying, you're too young to know what you're gonna want in 10 years, in 15 years. Like, you're too young right now to make this life-altering, life-forevering decision. Once it's done, it can't be undone. Think about it.
It's like getting bangs.
Alice, who like obviously sees the future, allowed this conversation to happen because Alice is such a homie and such a pro-choice queen
and such a
that
girl's
she's like,
girl.
I want her to have all of the information because maybe it will change her mind.
Yeah.
I can see in the future though, the strongest
gonna work
possibility
out, yeah.
still is her becoming a vampire. So
Alice-
this isn't gonna change it.
Alice fully let this happen knowing that in the end it would help her case because also Bella's stubborn as shit, and as soon as someone's like, you should want this, she's like, what if I actually don't and fuck you?
Yeah. Let her have all the info and make her own choice. But me and my sleepover, right? Like
Alice, that's why Alice is the same one that told Bella how vampires get made. Alice is always the one that is the gateway to information. Thanks, Rosalie. It's nice to understand.
to know you better. I'm
Like,
still gonna be a vampire.
that
but, you
makes
know,
sense, and like thanks for sharing, but I'm gonna do me.
I apologize for being such a monster.
Sometimes I feel like everybody can have a baby, and I'm a monster.
Infertility. I'll let you sleep now. Rosalie's eyes flickered to the bed and her lips twitched.
Bed? Bed? She's like, you know what people do on beds? Get pregnant.
And I'll never be alive.
She got up silently and ghosted to the door. Good night, Bella. It took me a long time to fall asleep after that. I was just lying there. Whew.
Men are evil.
It's the next morning.
They're going to school, and then Alice is like,
driving.
today we're gonna go like downtown, like we're gonna go to Olympia or
Yeah,
something.
like,
That would be fun, right? And
Like,
Bella's
please,
like,
something you want to, like anything do you want to do?
you're supposed to be having fun. It's not your fault. I'm just a bitch.
I trudged off to English. Without Edward, the day was guaranteed to be unbearable.
I had to invent a crush in every single one of my high school classes in order to make me excited to go to the class.
Oh, yeah.
So like if your crush is like sick that day and you walk in, you're like, oh,
What's the point?
he's not here. Guess today is gonna be unbearable.
Guess today is a waste.
Bell rings. Mike's there holding the door open. Edward hiking this weekend? Yeah. You want to do something?
How could he still sound hopeful?
Can't. I've got a slumber party. Who are you? A loud, growling roar erupted from behind us in the parking lot. Everyone on the sidewalk turned to look,
staring in disbelief as the noisy black motorcycle screeched to a stop on the side of the concrete. The engine still snarling.
It's Jacob!
Everyone's like, wait, this guy again?
Oh my god, Edward's out of town.
Edward's
and
not
this
even
guy
here.
showed up to school. What's she gonna do?
The plot thickens.
Jacob waved to me urgently. Run, Bella! He yelled over the engine's roar. I was frozen for a second before I understood. I looked quickly at Mike.
I got really sick and went home, okay?
I said to Mike, my voice filled with sudden excitement.
Fine. He muttered. But
I pecked Mike swiftly on the cheek.
thanks, Mike. I owe you one. She's like, how could Mike still think he had a chance with me? And then mere seconds later,
Jumps on the back of another guy's motorcycle after she kisses Mike on the cheek. Wait to leave the door open, Bella.
everyone on the sidewalk turned to look, staring in disbelief. Like everyone's like, oh my God, she's actually going with him.
I'd be gossiping my
ass
ass
off.
off, being like, oh my God.
Did you all hear about what happened in the parking lot today before school?
Bella's cheating on Edward. She's cheating on Edward.
Like she's got it.
Even though his sister drove her to school,
And
she
she's
got
staying
out
at
of
their
their car and jumped on this other man's cycle.
Yeah, oh my God. I jumped on the back of his seat, wrapping my arms tightly around his waist. I caught sight of Alice, frozen at the edge of the cafeteria, her eyes sparking with fury, her lip curled back over her teeth. I shot her one pleading glance, just like, please be cool.
Hold on, Jacob shouted.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
This motorcycle's fucking hot.
Hold on.
Just like me, I'm so fucking hot.
It's obvious when they reach the safe zone. The bike slows, Jacob straightens up and howls with laughter.
We made it.
Not bad for a prison break, eh? Good thinking, Jake.
Oh my God, they're gonna
He laughed triumphantly. What do you want to do today? Anything!
I laughed back.
Meanwhile, Alice has been like, hey, you want to do this or this or this? You want to do anything? And Bella's like, actually, no.
I'd literally rather do anything but
else.
anything with you. Jacob, what do you want to do?
Anything.
Wait, should we like go on a road trip to LA or something? A slumber party sound good to you?
Wait,
Or-
should I sleep over?
Yeah, that's the unhappy ending.
Yeah, and the chapter had kind of a happy.
Yeah, she was happy. What,
Yeah,
the
Bella's
last
happy.
sentence in here says, it felt great to be free. So people wonder why anyone was Team Jacob. And I'm like, she said she feels happy
She
to be
feels free. What she loves is the freedom of choice.
Everyone's telling her what to do all the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? I hate that.
Yeah, of course she's like, I got, no, like, of course. Anyway,
Thanks
that's-
for tuning in. Looking forward to chapter 8.
Absolutely. We're going to be back with chapter 8. It's going to be great, and we won't be late.
Probably will be late.
It's a date. Love y'all. Bye.